Storage compartment that we have just so you can store some extra fittings, components, water filters, or any tools that you may need. These are your two diver hot water supply valves. This is your inlet water temperature supplied to the unit and the supply manifold. This is the plug-in for the supply pump, which supplies water to the unit. This is your poly filter for the diver hot water. This is for the water that actually goes to the divers. This section down here is the discharge water out of the absorption system, and this is the control valve for regulating that. This is actually a drain valve when you shut it down. Also, it'll keep it from freezing. This one is also for the same purpose. You open it and shut it down. This T on the back side of it is where the automatic dump, in case you have an over temp situation, so your anti-scald device for the diver opens up and dumps into the return manifold to dump back to the supply section. On your manifold here, this is your inlet water, which is being supplied by your pump, which is plugged into the supply pump here. This is the discharge processed water that's going back over the side from the same location that you're pulling this water from. And in this case right here for our test, we have two 1/2-inch hoses hooked up to an umbilical from Umbilicals International. If you come back around to this side, this will tell you your diver hot water temperature. This one's going to tell you the actual pressure of the water to the divers or to the manifold for the divers. This is your process low pressure gauge. This is your process high pressure gauge. Above it, up here, is the actual control panel. The control panel itself is operated, has a small PLC inside it. It's fully automated. You can see right now, you have a control power on indicator, supply pump on indicator, diver pump on indicator, heat auto or heat off. This one, in this case, you typically leave it in heat auto to start the unit. This will be your start sequence button, and this is your dump button so that you can actually energize the solenoid valve to overboard dump instead of going to the diver. This is the system stop. Not only does it stop the supply pump, it actually shuts down the heating process, and basically it's a shutdown for the entire system. These are your alarms. This would be if you had a high pressure situation or a low pressure situation, and this one would be if you had a high or abnormal high temperature on the diver hot water. And then this will be your reset once all the controls would reset themselves and the PLC would see it. You can push this and clear the functions. This is an e-stop in the event that you just need to shut the whole unit down quickly. You can push down on it and shut it off. On the side of the unit, these are just feed and control cables and sensor lines that run down into the components inside the unit. And this is your main 230 volt single phase disconnect. Right now it's in the off position. This is now in on position. If you look up on top, you'll see that once you turned it on, we had the fault. I'm going to shut it off one time so we can see that again. All right. The system is off right now, de-energized. We've just plugged it in a 230 volt single phase. As a short time sequence, it gives you all these faults. What you do is hit the reset button, which stops the faults. In our case, we have our water coming from a test tank across the shop, but we'll go ahead and start the system up. When you first energize it, first we want to come over here and make sure that we have, Charlie, I need you to come over here. You need to make sure that you've got your overboard temperature metering valve open, and that you have one of the diver hot water supplies open, and or the dump valve. You can use either or. In this case, we're going to go ahead and run it back through one of the diver hot water supplies. See that the lines are hooked up and that your supply pump is in the water, picking up water, of course, and bringing it to the system. Then we come back over here and we'll hit our start button with this in the heat auto position. This is in diver hot water normal. You can't hear it because it's so quiet, and also it's a sump pump. There's actually water now being supplied to the pump. If you look at the pressure gauge, you'll see there is some pressure down here on the water pressure. It's approximately 30 seconds delay, and that's just to make sure that all the air and everything in the system is cleared out and that it's completely primed prior to actually starting the second pump and the heating process so as not to damage any of the pieces. It just started. That was your diver hot water pump came on. You've seen the pressure boost up. You look up on the indicator panel, you have a clear green board. The unit is now processing and making hot water. If you watch, you'll slowly see this begin to rise at your temperature. You'll also notice, if you look, that your process gauges are also changing.
We'll look at what the inlet hot water supply or the supply cold water is.
Right now, our inlet water temperature is right at 39 to 40 degrees Fahrenheit. That's the water actually coming into the unit. We're already, if you put your hand on the diver hot water, you can feel it. It's already warming up. It's past 80. It's on its way to 90. You notice the unit's extremely quiet. Now, just so that we can show you how it's done, in order to shut the unit down or secure it, all we do is reach up and push to stop the supply pump. You could go ahead at this point, disconnect all your hoses, all your electrical, shut off the main disconnect, and secure the unit. Once again, to restart it, check to see it's in heat auto, push that, your green comes on, your supply pump's running. You'll see you'll have some pressure here, slowly climbing up, filling the unit. One of the other things we have while it's getting ready to cycle through, this is the location where you actually put the supply pump during shipping, in other words, to haul it to and from a location.